Okay, we're recording. It is, what time is it? 5:54 in the morning. Don't be alarmed. I am not up early. I have not slept. I have not slept. Oh man, I am such a crazy son. Okay, never mind. Yeah, so Venice by Anderson .Paak. Why am I listening to an album from 2014? Well, I am running a special promotion on the channel because for those of you that are not aware, I'm currently working on a mixtape with a bunch of my subscribers who are in the Discord server, fellow artists and producers. We're working on a tape called the Putting Y'all On tape. And while I do that, I'm trying to raise funds so that I can dedicate my time more to producing the music and less to making reaction videos. And so in order for me to do that, like I said, I need to raise funds. And so I'm running a promotion on the channel for as long as I'm working on the tape. So that if you have a specific album that you want me to make a video for, whether it's yours or a friend's or a mainstream album, an album of your choosing, if you want a video for it, regardless of whether or not I've listened to it, if you send in $30 via the link that is in the description, the Streamlabs link that is in the description, a $30 donation towards the PYO tape will get you a video to an album of your choosing. And so Venice by Anderson .Paak was specifically requested. And so I really appreciate, who was it that requested it? I should have had this up. In general, I'm expecting this album to be really good. I mean, you know, this isn't going to be me, how should I say this? I'm not expecting this to be mediocre. You know, Anderson .Paak makes great music. This is going to be funky and soulful and fun. And so for the most part, I know that going into it. I'm just going to sit back, relax, and try and enjoy the music. You know, so that this isn't going to be me being super critical because I know the level that Anderson .Paak makes music at. You know, this isn't some artist that I've never heard of before. So this is really just going to be a very laid back, casual reaction video. So just sit back, try and enjoy it. And yeah, let's see if I can find the specific donation here. Oh, emarine03. Yep. emarine03. Thank you so much. Yeah, it was emarine03 who specifically requested this video. Yeah, so I'm just going to relax and enjoy it, man. 16 tracks, not bad, 50 minutes long. I don't know. Let's just jump into it. Let's just jump into it. Number one is Waves. Track 2, Milk and Honey.
Magnificent pro shopping bags at the Grove, MCM on the code. I was
Wow.
walking out 6, she pulled up in the 6.
This has like an early Childish Gambino feel right here.
Like it's yours, babe, 'cause I got big money.
His voice has always been fantastic, huh?
I said okay.
The drum sounds sound a little dated. This is actually way less funky than what I was expecting. It's not bad, it just sounds a little old, you know? This is okay. I'm not really impressed by it. This is not what I normally expect from Anderson .Paak. Okay, so, yeah, sounds a little dated. Definitely not really feeling the drum sounds. It's not really what I normally come to Anderson .Paak for. It is nice, though, to hear him do a little bit of rapping, and there's some very solid storytelling on this track. It was a little jarring, just because it really wasn't what I was expecting. Yeah, you know, I don't want to say that it's bad. I'm sure that it's definitely bad in comparison to his later music, I think. This really isn't up to that standard that I was talking about at the very beginning of the video. You know, Anderson .Paak just makes absolutely incredible music, and that one just wasn't really absolutely incredible. It's definitely still not bad, though. I'm sure that at the time that it dropped, it was something, you know, something special. Track 3 is The City.
I need to see the lead before the stride. I'm sure that you can imagine. I live around here.
This is more what I was expecting, man.
That get you all the cash and fashion.
Something wavy and smooth. Definitely so easy to drift off to this one, man. This is so wavy.
I think it's much more than the green leaf.
One of those tracks you can just leave on in the background and vibe to. Track 4 is Might Be. Oh, that sample's already fire.
I get the feeling that you might be to be. Every word I speak got you flowing off your own puff.
Love the chords.
Won't make a difference.
Yeah, let's go.
Enough to get you high, baby. I got about a half an ounce of that that tree. Laid up on the couch, got fingers in your mouth, girl.
I like the little white noise chops too. Yeah, we're just about done with that one. That's a groovy track. That's soulful. It's easy to zone out to. It's so easy on the ears, man. It's a really pleasant sounding track. That's definitely one of those ones that you can just put up and kick back to, you know, if you're hanging out with somebody. You know, it doesn't just have to be like a group of friends. It could be even like a first date situation where you're just laid up at home, you know, just chilling and got this on in the background. It's a really cool vibe, you know, so that I could totally see it in that scenario as well. Really dope track. Track 5 is Miss Right. These older drum sounds, man. Oh, this is interesting though. This sounds really grand. I like it. I wasn't expecting a guitar solo. The production's very interesting here, actually. It's got a really cool groove to it. Yeah, I like how he's playing up with the time signatures and the syncopation, dude. Really cool. It's a nice little instrumental outro. Love that. You know, really cool track. Track 6 is Put You On. This is so different. Wow. It's like this really weird fusion, you know. In the hi-hats, the really fast-paced hi-hats, I can hear a lot of like what Skrillex used to do on you know, in dubstep at that time, but it feels like, you know, some of these melodies feel like EDM, and yet they've also got the really wavy synth pads that were really popular at the time, and songs like I'm On One, right? It sounds like he's going for almost like a Drake vibe, like an early Drake vibe here. It didn't. I don't know if this is him doing what he wants to do, or if this is him trying to just make something to try and blow up at that time, you know, because it feels like what he makes now is just so much better, and it feels like he found his sound along the way. This doesn't really sound like him, you know. I'm not saying he's doing a poor job on it. He's doing just fine. It really just doesn't really sound like him. It sounds like a completely different artist, you know. If you listen to Bruno Mars's early stuff, that also just sounds way too poppy for the soulful, glamorous kind of like vintage sound that he has now. So yeah, I don't know. It's very strange to hear Anderson .Paak on this beat. I don't dislike it though. It's just, it's different. Yeah, I feel like I'm pretty good on that song. I don't know. I don't really just feel like listening to the last 30 seconds or so. I feel like I've got the gist of it. You know, I kind of want to move on to the next one. That one was okay. Track 7 is Already featuring Sir. I like those melodies in the background.
Okay, back to my thesis. Hoes don't love them, don't treat them. I just flavor with the clock. I had no time to play bitches. You feeling?
I'm mad at this.
That's the masterpiece. You rolling, making mine, make it. I can't help but to watch. Collard greens in my pot. All this, I'm ready. Don't go.
You can sort of hear the foundation for where he's at now here. So what I like about Already is that you can sort of hear how he got to where he's at musically. You know, Already has sort of like a couple of the beginnings of what we can hear now. You know, it's got those really nice groovy sounding guitars, the soulful, you know, really great bass line, and he's got the background vocals to doing the harmonies, and his performance is really groovy, and it's got this really warm soul to it. It's still got some dated trap drums that were really popular in hip-hop at the time. Drums that I don't know he would use now. You know, nowadays more so he uses his own drum kit and he actually plays them, and I personally prefer that sound for Anderson, but you can sort of hear that one kind of sounds like him, you know, an earlier version of him, but it does sound like you can hear Anderson on that, you know what I mean? It's a really tough way to, it's a really difficult thing to sort of describe into words. I mean, you know, I became familiar with Anderson through his later music, and so going back and listening to his earlier stuff, it can be a little off-putting with certain songs, and that one was just really nice to hear something that sounded slightly familiar, you know? Track 8 is Dogtown. Seems to be an interlude, so I'm going to let it roll right into track 9, which is I Miss That Whip.
American self-expression. Here, you do your thing. The world watches.
To think about it, but I get over it real. I'll miss a one bed. I miss that whip. That whip. Have a smoothie in the rain and move pre-roll J-way.
Gorgeous guitar sound. Beautiful pianos. This is a great vibe. I'm coming back to this one 100%. Oh, look at those keys, dude. Wow. So gorgeous. Track 10 is Get 'Em Up. Nice.
But if you lead, then I might roll. On your marks. All up in the air. We walk in the same direction with no common plan. And if it's love, then it's real. But when you're ready, let me start. Okay, smooth talking and days.
I think I like it. I don't love it. It feels like it's been going on for a little too long. Yeah, at this point, there's less than a minute left on the track, and I already feel like it's been going on for a little too long. I think the all up in the air hook gets a little repetitive and kind of annoying with the amount of times that he repeats it throughout the entire song. I'm really not mad at the chords. I'm not mad at the pianos. I like the layering that he did with his vocals. This has the potential to be a much better song like I Miss That Whip. I don't hate it, but it could be better. It definitely overstays its welcome a little bit as well, but, it's not all bad. Track 11 is Paint. I don't want to hear Anderson on this sort of music. This reminds me of when I was in like 8th grade, and what was popular then. Even though this came out after that, this feels already like a song that I wouldn't really come back to unless I was feeling very nostalgic for this sort of a style, I'm gonna skip ahead a little bit on this one because I'm just not really into this song at all. The parts of the song where it's just like that electronic music sort of a vibe, I'm not looking for that from Anderson .Paak. It really doesn't interest me at all. Actually, I'm not really looking for that at all. Not just from Anderson .Paak, but I'm not really looking for this sort of a vibe at all right now recently. So maybe if I had heard this, I don't know, a couple months from now or a couple months ago when I was at a period in my life when I was a little bit more open to this sort of a thing. Right now, the vibe that I'm looking for is just not this. This could be useful to me at some other point in my life, but right now it's not really for me. I'm just not into it. I'm not invested in it, I don't want... people are going to have access to the uncut version of this. I don't want you to have to watch me sit through 4 minutes of a song that I don't really enjoy all that much. So, track 12 is Drugs.
When we have drugs.
Wow.
These women said we poppin' slow and we do the dance like we more than winning. When a nigga sit up in this whole world we made up. This you get to me, how many more can you get to me? I know you feeling me, grinding and biting and kissing me. Who gives me you?
This is so strange. It's not bad at all. That one line about her friend not being cute, but his friend still being a trooper so he'll take the L is such a savage bar, dude. Yeah, like I said, this definitely sounds like Anderson trying to find his sound. It's really not a bad song. It's just so strange to hear his voice on here. Man, this one goes on for almost 5 minutes. I don't know. Definitely overstays its welcome. I don't think there's any reason for this to be almost 5 minutes long. But if this were like a 3 minute long song, it's a banger. You know, it's strange hearing his voice over it, but it's not poorly mixed. It doesn't sound extremely dated. The drum sounds are still fire. The 808 is still, you know, booming. So it's definitely a banger. A fun, energetic party sort of a track. It's just like I said. It sounds like he was trying to make popular music without truly having that one sound that is his. It sounds like he hadn't found it yet, and so it's just weird to hear this from him. Mickey Doralude.
Teachers, screaming teachers, police, priests.
Track 14 is Love You. Oh, this sounds great. Sound design for that bass is awesome. Love those hats. This is fun, it's groovy, it's soulful, nice to dance to, great tempo. It's just going to be a little instrumental outro there for like the last 20 seconds. Really fun song. I think this is, you know, again, you can sort of see this track is one of the ones where he was like really into that zone and finding that sound that works for him. You know, this one's the one that's like, it's got like millions more plays than a lot of these other tracks. I think it's the third most listened to song on here. So, you know, you could definitely tell. Maybe he looked at how many times that these tracks were played and he realized this sound is working for me. People like this. I can pull this off really well. You know, and just stuck with it because this sounds like Anderson. Really cool. 15 right there.
My word and my wealth, too big is my heart, too small are my cares. Then she says, even when you're gone, I can still feel you.
Wow.
I want it more than that. Don't you care? That's not fair.
That was cool with the little synth bass. Yeah.
One, two is all that ever drives my being. That never ending, never tempting.
Really cool. Yeah, I like that there's a couple of different, not tempos, it's all at one tempo, but there's a couple of different drum patterns that are going on in here. Some of them are like a little bit of a halftime drum pattern, and you know, there's a couple of different vibe switches throughout the track that he sort of goes into and really emphasizes them with background vocals and changes in the production. And I like the progression that we feel, you know, in this track, the sort of ups and downs that we go through with it. It's a really cool song. It doesn't really overstay its welcome. It's just shy of 3.5 minutes long, and yeah, definitely not mad at this one. This is pretty smooth, you know, pretty smooth. The last track is Off the Ground.
If it is right, here's a one-on-one. But you can get this hit when it's off the ground. And I'm lifting it up, sending it. Suddenly off the ground. Lifting it up, sending it. We are here and now. Let it all come out.
He's so versatile, man. He can really perform over any genre. I really wouldn't be mad at the song if it ended right here. I don't know what he's going to do for like another 1.5 minutes, but right here would be a good place to end it. At least it's a switch up, so it's not boring.
If you need, you can go there.
Love the background vocals too. I guess this is another one of those ones you can just have on in the background. Not bad at all, dude. Off the Ground's a really interesting vibe. One of those ones you can just have on in the background, and you know, I'm not really mad at it. It is very different throughout this project to hear Anderson over some tracks that have like electronic music elements to them. You know, some really early drill as well with that one track, Drugs. We hear a lot of, you know, poppy, bubbly synths and a lot of very bright sounding synths, and also a lot of synth bass. And it's not really the vibe that we sort of get with his later music, which has, you know, all real instruments, the really groovy electric guitars, funky bass lines, and that vintage drum sound that Anderson just knocks out of the park with his drum kits and his actual playing itself. You know, that's really what I'm used to, and so it's very interesting to hear Anderson over a variety of different sounds on this album. Since it's one of his earlier ones, I do believe that maybe he hadn't quite found that one sound that works for him just yet. And, you know, he's a versatile and talented enough artist to really make any genre work for him. It's just when you're accustomed to what we have now, it's tough to hear him over something else and see it as being just as good. You know what I mean? So it's an interesting listen. If you haven't heard it, I would definitely suggest that you listen to this and take some time and check this out. I was able to pull a couple of tracks out of it and put it onto my playlist 100%. You know, it's still, for anybody who was a fan of Anderson, it's going to be a very interesting experience if you haven't heard it yet, to hear him kind of demonstrate just how versatile he is and how many different lanes he actually can go into, despite not really going into them nowadays. Yeah, he's, you know, a fantastic artist. He's definitely up there for me. Super talented, very creative. And it was a blast. I had a lot of fun sitting down and just kind of vibing and chilling to this one. This was a really cool experience. So eMarine03, thank you so much for asking me to listen to this one. Take advantage of the promo that I'm running. If you have an album that you want me to do a video for, even if I've heard it already, and you also want to support the tape that I'm working on with a couple of the subscribers in the Discord server, send in $30 using that Streamlabs link that is in the description. And in the message box, just tell me the artist and the album name, and I will get that video out to you as soon as possible. Really appreciate it, you guys. Thank you so much for watching. Everybody who watched the uncut version on Patreon, shout out to you guys especially as well for helping me to continue to make these videos as often as I do. I really appreciate you guys for your support. And yeah, everybody stay safe out there. I will see you guys later. Until then, peace out.